Hi, my name is Winter Canfield, and I'm going to be doing a review on Austin Powers International Man of Mystery, directed by Jay Roach. In this movie, there are actors such as Mike Myers, who is the main character and the protagonist. He's both the antagonist and the protagonist. Um, Will Ferrell is there. The supporting role is Elizabeth Hurley. And Austin Powers is essentially a hilariously spoof of a crime drama, but it's ultimately an action comedy about a man who was a spy in the 1970s, and he was a photographer by day and a spy by night. Um, in the 70s, a very common theme was fluidity. And so his role very much plays off of that. Mike Myers definitely knew what he was doing when he took on the persona of a swinger in England in the 70s. He got the teeth right, he got everything right, the necklace, the clothes, all of it. Um, but so he's a spy in the 70s, and his arch nemesis, which is actually himself, but Dr. Evil, oh my god, stop, is going to destroy the world. Sorry, I had to catch my thoughts. He's going to destroy the world, and right before Austin Powers goes and catches him with his sidekick, the mother of Vanessa, the main sidekick in the story, Dr. Evil cryogenically freezes himself and launches himself into space. So they do the same thing to Austin, the British intelligence agency. And then it flash forwards to 1990, and they unfreeze him because, surprise, surprise, Dr. Evil's back. So essentially, Austin Powers and his new sidekick Vanessa go on this extremely crazy journey, and through this journey of trying to figure out, how to get Dr. Evil, how to get away from his sidekicks, they start to fall in love. And it's rocky because, he's a sexually fluid man, and she's a product of the 90s, of the times where, lots of things had happened that he wasn't aware of. There's a scene in the movie where he says, I've been frozen for the last 30 years. I didn't realize all this stuff had happened. He says Liberace is gay, and who would have thought, you know? Um, anyway, so they go through all these crazy adventures, and eventually they catch up to Dr. Evil, who is trying to destroy the world by drilling a hole into the magma core of Earth. And also, Dr. Evil meets his son, who is Seth Green, and his name is Scott in the movie. And Scott just doesn't like him right off the bat. Scott is a very practically evil person, but Dr. Evil is a whimsical, big showman evil who ultimately, I feel like, if he doesn't have somebody to oppose him, then is he really evil? What does he have to be evil for if he doesn't have an arch enemy? So he always throws out these ridiculous, easily escapable traps for Austin to escape, because he needs Austin just as much as Austin needs somebody to catch. He needs somebody to try and catch him. Anyway, so right as they're getting down to business, they sneak into the laboratory, the evil laboratory, and they're going to go disarm the drill that's going to go into the earth. And they do it with great ease, although for some reason gunshots never hit anybody in the entire movie. And there's there's a part in the movie where, and it's a very close up camera angle. It's a close up, and it's just ridiculous. They're driving on this I don't want to say four-wheeler, but it's like a bulldozer type of vehicle, and it moves at like 2 miles an hour. And one of the guys that works there, he's like, "No, don't do it!" And he's standing 100 feet away from this 2 mile an hour bulldozer, and they're like, "Move out of the way!" And he's like, "Ah!" And they're like, "Move!" And it just goes back and forth, and then it shows a wide angle, and it shows that they're like 100 feet apart, and he can easily just walk out of the way. But they ultimately run him over in this giant warehouse, and then right after running him over, they're just like, okay, and then they get off. And it's ridiculous, but the camera angles and the editing are just, they make it so that it's very dramatic. All of the humor in this movie is so over the top. It's just over the top dramatic. Even Dr. Evil has a very dramatic way of showing how he's being evil, with the pinky and the and yeah, so they stop the drill, and then right as they're gonna get Dr. Evil, he jumps right back into another frozen cryogenic chamber and launches himself into space a second time. And then ultimately Austin Powers gets married to his sidekick Vanessa, Elizabeth Hurley. And there's so many sexual innuendo jokes in this movie, but they get married and they're on their honeymoon, and it's basically just a happy ending of, okay, we need you to do this other thing, or I'm glad you're gonna be knighted, I'm glad you guys had a good honeymoon, all this stuff. Which in the next movie, the very first scene, you find out she's a fembot. But regardless, this movie was pretty ridiculous. And the director, Jay Roach, definitely did a really good job on this movie. I can't say much more. And Austin Powers was incredibly one of the most funniest movies I think I've seen in a while. Anyway, that is my review. Thank you.